5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
And thus began one of the most formative moments of my childhood. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and here on this channel I ramble with articulation, I hope, about a variety of music, audio and visual elements that I pull from videos that I watch. This is the first episode of Music That Inspired Me. And in this series, I'm just going to do some short videos talking about pieces of music that I find to be particularly inspirational to me, or that have stuck with me ever since I heard them, or some such, whatever it happens to be. And I could not start this series with anything other than the Thunderbirds March. For those who have not come across this, Thunderbirds was a TV series that debuted in 1965. It was by Gerry Anderson, who had created a whole slew of series by this point, although this is probably the one he is best known for. And it follows 5 brothers and their father, the Tracys, they basically form a team called International Rescue that serves to go out and save people. And in doing so, they pilot the Thunderbirds, which are 5 extraordinary craft. Thunderbird 1 is a hypersonic rocket. Thunderbird 2 is a supersonic carrier vehicle. Thunderbird 3 is a spaceship. Thunderbird 4 is a submarine. And Thunderbird 5 is a space station that doubles as a communications satellite for the team. And working together, they fly out and save people from all manner of disasters and occasionally sabotage. And it's all about saving lives. And in my opinion, it is one of the most extraordinary children's TV series to date for a couple of reasons. One, it's still works today. If you watch the original Thunderbirds series, there's a couple of bits and pieces that haven't aged particularly well, but the premise and the quality still works. Number 2, it doesn't just work for kids. I watch it every now and then still. I have it on DVD. It's extraordinary. And I think that it appeals to a wide range of ages because the stories are so well crafted. They really, really are. They live up to, some of the best writing in British television. And Gerry Anderson always had fantastic series. Some of them weren't quite as successful as others, but he was onto a formula that really, really worked. And Thunderbirds, the way that he did this was just incredible. Timmy agrees, don't you? Say hi. He was onto something that worked, and Thunderbirds was absolutely brilliant. He had this. It was part of a series of shows he did, which were filmed in Supermarionation, and that being a portmanteau, and the perhaps the most key part of it being the marionette part of Supermarionation. These were puppets. They were extremely detailed puppets with solenoids that controlled their jaw, so they looked like they were talking. They had full eye control. They walked with this kind of bouncing gait, often with their arms out, and it was mocked a great deal. But at the same time, it was also respected significantly more. And they had these extraordinary miniatures and figures that they used to represent the machines, the terrain, buildings, whatever it happened to be, and the special effects in it. I don't know how much stuff they blew up over the time of this series, but there were incredible explosions, incredible moments of daring that really made you sit on the edge of your seat. And it was just a remarkable series. And I think the thing that kind of amazed me the most about it, or still amazes me, I suppose, today, is how well the music stands up and how recognizable it is. A lot of people may not know what Thunderbirds is, but they might recognize the theme tune. It does help that it has been revived twice, once somewhat unsuccessfully as a live-action movie, which unfortunately went through development hell, and as often happens when the production of a movie is hell, the movie itself ends up not really being as good as it should have been, which was disappointing. But then again, as a CGI series that I believe debuted in about 2015 called Thunderbirds Are Go, which is actually very, very good. I've watched most of it, I think, maybe all of it, I'm not sure. And it was actually a really good series. It was an excellent update. It contemporized some of the things that maybe didn't age as well, updated it all to look a little bit more modern. But it kept a lot of the music. It was rearranged and re-recorded, but a lot of the themes were still there. And amongst them was the Thunderbirds March, which was recorded by, or rather composed by Barry Gray. Barry Gray composed the music for Gerry Anderson from his very first series in 1956 called The Adventures of Twizzle, which was back in the black and white TV days. All the way up into the 70s. And I believe he composed the first season of a series called Space 1999. And then that was it. But he wrote the Thunderbirds March. He wrote the opening to Stingray, to Captain Scarlet, to Joe 90. All of these are pieces of music that still reside in my head. But Thunderbirds more than any. It's been played multiple times by the band of the Royal Marines in the UK. I actually went to a Royal Garden party at Buckingham Palace at one point in time. I don't mean that to be a sort of name drop, but I went on behalf of my grandfather, who had passed away by then, to celebrate the centenary of naval aviation, that is, aircraft taking off from aircraft carriers and things like that. And while I was there, the band of the Royal Marines was playing, and they performed the Thunderbirds March, which was a really special moment for me. But this piece of music, Gerry Anderson had requested something with a martial feel, and Barry Gray delivered so very well. You heard the entry there with the voice of Jeff Tracy, who I can never remember the gentleman's name, which is terrible. It is the voice of the late Peter Dineley. I always forget his name, I apologise. And they even used that in Thunderbirds Are Go, the CGI series. They used his voice counting down. And that started off every episode. Followed by, I have to admit, this is the one thing I never liked about Thunderbirds, and I still don't like about TV today, flashes of what was going to happen in the upcoming episode. I hate cold opens that... not like, hints of plot, but something that gives you a hint of something that's going to happen later. And I hate what's coming for the rest of this season or what's happening next episode. I don't want to know that. I want to know as I discover. I think maybe it was also to kind of help folks know what was coming and know, what the peril was going to be so that they could ascertain what the tension level was going to be for kids. And also what the... what the episode held, essentially. And I do understand why it was there, but it's a device. It's a device I'm not particularly fond of to this day. But that was accompanied by an equally impressive piece of music. This is from the Gerry Anderson YouTube channel, and this I'm going to bring up the video now. This is showing the excerpts from an episode called End of the Road, which is an excellent episode, and I really, really enjoyed. And it's one of those ones, I had it on book on tape as well, I think, which works surprisingly well for Thunderbirds, actually. But you got this music while it was happening. Okay, scratch that. That first scene was from End of the Road, and I recognised it, which is why I said that. But actually, I haven't watched this video yet. That was excerpts from multiple different episodes. So this was obviously created to promote Thunderbirds, which is great. You got that. Dramatic, tense music. But then this kicked off, and this is the piece of music that inspired me. And I'm going to tell you why it inspired me, and then we're going to listen to it. And that's effectively going to be this episode. What I am also going to say is please let me know what you think about these. This is something new for me. I thought I'd do a few of these. It's kind of started, quote unquote, with One Winged Angel, which I covered in Video Game Month, but I wanted to do a whole chunk about that, so that was a really long video. Music that inspired me as a series is going to be like this. It's going to be shorter. So let me know what you think about this video in the comments. If you enjoyed Thunderbirds, let me know who was your favorite pilot or character. Which was your favorite Thunderbird machine? You can't see what's on my t-shirt. Mine was Thunderbird 2. and apparently Timmy's cat fur. Just because the idea of this cool carrier that could bring so many different things into a rescue was really cool. Let me know your favourite in the comments below. If you've never seen Thunderbirds, incidentally, but you have seen Team America World Police, that is basically parodying Supermarionation. That was the style in which the puppetry was shot for Thunderbirds. But yes, so this is the Thunderbirds March. And the reason that this was so inspirational to me, this wasn't my first piece of music I ever remember hearing, but it's the first one I remember having an impact on my life. And the reason was that I used to go over to a neighbour's house every evening. I grew up with my grandparents. And at 4 p.m. roughly every evening, I would go over to a neighbour's house because my grandmother would get home from work. She was a nursing trainee, a senior, I can't remember what the terminology was now, but she was a training sister at the Royal London Hospital, or London Hospital as it was then. And she would come home from work and need a little bit of time to decompress. And so a neighbour would look after me for an hour, and I'd watch TV and whatever. And her son, also David, had the ability to play music on the piano by ear alone. He would hear a piece of music and play it. And it was extraordinary. And this, I think, inspired not only one of my... it was not only one of the inspirations for my love of music, but also an inspiration for me to pick up learning the piano. I was about to say pick up the piano, but I was about 5 at the time, and picking up a boudoir grand piano would not have been easy. Maybe even younger, 4, 3 possibly. But he heard me watching Thunderbirds a few times, and one time he just sat down at the piano and played the theme tune. And that has lived with me to this day. It is one of the things that most inspired me as a musician, to hear somebody take a piece of music I loved so much, that meant so much to me, and to be able to translate it into playing a piece of music. That was so inspiring. And for that reason, this might be the piece of music that has inspired me the most in my life to date, almost 39 years in. And I don't think anything has had quite the impact on me that this piece of music has had for that reason. But this is Barry Gray's Thunderbirds March. An amazing piece of music. So short too, it's a minute long. But what an extraordinary piece of music. It can be expanded. When the Band of the Royal Marines plays it, it's about 3 minutes, but it's truly fantastic. One amusing anecdote, rather. My grandmother, as I say, this show came out in 1965. They ran reruns of it in the 90s in the UK, which is how I saw it. And I think it was either 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. And I would sit down religiously and watch this. And my grandmother knew I would love this series, but when I was younger, I have very sensitive hearing, and I was afraid of very, very loud noises. We had a butcher that had one of those big tills that you'd, punch all the numbers in and they'd pop up, and then you pull a lever and big ka-chunk and out spat the drawer. And even that made me nervous. That explosion right at the end there terrified me. And the first time I tried to watch Thunderbirds, I got to that point and noped right out of it. And I don't think I watched it again for about 6 months. And then I finally got through that and fell in love. But there's one of the things that caught me off guard, and it was shortly after I fell in love with it and really started watching it that I had this experience of having it played back to me. But that is one of the pieces of music that has most inspired me in my life, possibly the one that has most inspired me in my life. And I wanted to share that with you because this is something that means an awful lot to me. And hopefully I hit some nostalgia with some of you, and hopefully for others I've brought this piece of music to you for the first time. If I did, Look into Thunderbirds. It's wonderful. Look into Gerry Anderson's work in general. There may be more of it in this series down the line. Not for a while. I don't know. We'll see. This is very much going to be whatever inspires me in the moment. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope this is a little look into some cool music, but also something that inspired me. No reaction here, just an opportunity for me to share something cool. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this. Please do like the video, hit the subscribe button. I do lots of reactions and analyses on this channel. Most of my videos are long because I really dig into my analysis. But hopefully you enjoy that. Hit the notification bell to decide how often YouTube tells you I'm posting stuff. And if you would care to donate to support the channel, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKreacts, at patreon.com/DavidKreacts, where there's a single donation tier of $2 at this point in time at any rate, and that will give you access to my Discord as well. Or you could leave a super thanks here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care, look after yourselves, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.